Adding numbers is really quite easy as long as we know our basic facts and as long as we know that our number system is based upon groups of 10. And once we spill over, so to speak, into another grouping of 10, we have to carry over into other groups. So first of all, you probably should practice your math facts, your basic facts of all of the digits added. So 0 plus 0, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 2, 0 plus 3, 0 plus 4, 0 plus 5, 0 plus 6, 0 plus 7, 0 plus 8, 0 plus 9. And then you start in on the ones, 1 plus 0, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, so on and so forth, up to 1 plus 9. And then 2 plus 0, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2, so on and so forth, 2 plus, through 2 plus 9. And finally you keep going on in this way until you get to 9 plus 0, 9 plus 1, so on and so forth, up to 9 plus 9. And make sure that you know all of those facts very, very well. It will make your job much easier when you go to add bigger numbers. And then when we talk about subtraction, it will be much easier as well. Now, the first thing that we need to know after we know our basic facts is that place values have to be lined up in order to add them up. And we're going to remember that groups of perfect 10 get redistributed. So let's take a look at these. Let's say I had this many marbles and this many more that I wanted to add together. We're going to make a math sentence here and say this same thing. So how many marbles do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put the number 4 here. So 4, and then I'm going to add to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gives us 10 marbles. And this is that idea that I was talking about of groups of 10 getting redistributed. You see, now we have this idea of 0 ones and 1 10, because all we can have in each of our place values is the digits 0 through 9. They can only represent just up to the next value. So when we have 10 individual things, it spills over into the next place value up. So this is a math sentence, and we created this from saying, okay, if we had 4 things and we were going to put 6 more with it, how many things that would we have? And that's what addition means. And this is our way of representing that. The next thing that we want to look at is how we could add more than just single digits. And what we would do is we would want to line up the place values. So remember, this is the ones place, and then this is the tens place. This is the ones place, this is the tens place, and then this is the hundreds place. So I'm going to put the bigger number on top. That's usually how we do it, bigger number on top, and then I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to put the ones under the ones and the tens under the tens, and there is no hundreds here, so you could put a 0 in here if you wish, but we don't typically do that. But if you want to hold the place values, that's how you would do it. And then we would add the ones. So it's just like saying if I had 2 marbles and I put 5 more together, how many marbles would I have? Well, I would have 7 marbles. And then I have 70 marbles, right? 70. And I have 20 marbles. So 70 and 20, that's like saying I have 7 tens and 2 tens. How many tens do I have? They're just names, those place values. So 7 plus 2 gives me 9. And those are, of course, tens. So there's 7 ones, 9 tens, and then I have 1 100 plus 0 100s, which gives me 1 100. So now I've added these up, and I say that this is 197, and that would be my value. Now, you know the way that I just said this, there were 2 plus 5 ones and 7 plus 2 tens and 1 plus 0 hundreds. That leads to something that we call expanded notation. So let me just kind of write that out here, because this is something that sometimes we get a little bit into in a basic math kind of class. And that will come up later on in your math careers because we need that idea of expanded notation to do some of the things that we do, say in statistics, for example. All right, so we have 1, and then we say times 100 because 1 times 100 represents 100. And this is like saying its name, it's the hundreds place. Plus, we have 7 times 10. And then we have plus, and then 2, I'm running out of room here, I'm going to have to go here, 2 times 1. And that's what we call expanded notation. And it says I have 1 100ths, I have 7 10s, and I have 2 1s. And we are grouping them based upon these times 10s times 1s times 100ths, the place values. And that's what we're doing. So now, in our next example, I'm going to go ahead and change colors so it's easier to see. I have 87, that's the bigger number, and I'm going to write it first, plus, and then I just have the number 3. That's in the ones place, so I'll put it there. Now in this one you'll see 7 plus 3 is 10. So now that's that spillover, right? I need the 1 to go up and be written with the tens place value, just like we saw when we added 6 and 4. So what we do is we write the 0 of the ones place here, and then we carry, that's called carrying, the 1 for the tens place up into the tens place. And now we say we have 1 10 and 8 more 10s, and so now we have 9 10s. And if you start counting, right, from 87, you go 88, 89, and 90. That's all adding is. Adding is a way of counting. And that gives us to 90, and that's exactly what we got when we added. Now the last one here, we have 282, which is the bigger number again, plus, and then 19, the 9 goes under the ones, the 1 goes under the tens, and now we'll add. 2 plus 9 is 11. Well, that's spilling over again, right? So we'll write the 1 of 11 that's in the ones place, and we'll write the 1 of 11 that's in the tens place in its proper tens place. Now we have 1 plus 8 plus 1, which is 10. Well, now we're back to the same idea, right? So we'll write the 0 of the tens in the tens place here because these are actually 10 tens, right? So now that at 1 that's in the tens place of the number 10, it spills over into the hundreds because 10 100ths is or 10 tens is actually 100. And now we have 1 100 plus 2 100ths, which equals 3 100ths. And that's how we add, by having multiple carries. And you see it just carries the same way when we're in the tens place that it did when we were in the ones place. All right, now let's talk very quickly about how we would do it if we had decimals. So let's put 0.381 and add to that 27.9. So I'm going to start, like I had recommended before, with the larger number. 27.9 is larger than 0.381. Remember, that's read 381 thousandths. And so I'm going to put the bigger one, 27.9 first, and then I'm going to put point, decimal point, right? So we usually say that as a point, and then 381. And then we're adding these. Now, you don't have to, but you can certainly hold the place values right there. It doesn't make any difference. And then we add. 0 and 1 is 1. 0 and 8 is 8. 9 and 3 is 12. Now, just because it's going across this decimal place doesn't make any difference because we're taking the tenths and we're regrouping them into ones. Now, as we pass over it, we want to be sure that we bring down the decimal place right in line here because the decimal place helps us line up place values. And then we have 1 plus 7, which is 8, and then we have 2. And so that's our new value. So why don't you go ahead and try this next one on your own, or next two on your own. How about 7, 8 plus 8, 5, 9, and then try 1.25 plus 0.783. I'll let you try those on your own. So maybe pause it and then check back and see if you got them correct. All right, so I'm going to start with the bigger number, 8, 5, 9, plus 7, 8, and the ones line up, the tens line up. 9 plus 8 is 17, and then the 1 in the 17 carries over into the tens. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 7 is 13. So the tens place carries over into the hundreds. 1 plus 8 is 9. And there's our answer, 937. Right, now if we go to this problem, the bigger number is this one. So I'll start with that, 1.25 plus, and then I'll put in the smaller one. So 0, and then the decimal point lines up, 7, 8, 3. Now there's no thousands place in the top number, so I can put in a 0 if it makes me more comfortable. Some people will put an X there instead. 0 plus 3 is 3. 5 plus 8 is 13. 1 carries over, of course. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 7 is 10. So the 0 of the 10 goes there. The 1 of the 10 carries over into the ones place. 1 plus 1 is 2. And there we go. There are our answers. So that wraps up a little bit on adding numbers. And we've added both whole numbers and decimal numbers. And those decimal numbers, another name for those would be real numbers.